She was, actually.
Brian couldn't make it, so now I'm the Brian. So welcome everyone to a fun summertime meeting with some people missing. Right now, the only person we're missing in our lineup is Cody, and he was going to be the timer, so I can be the timer.
I can be a timer.
You can be the timer. Yeah. Perfect. Even better. All right.
How do we do time?
You're the timer.
It's color paper.
And do we have anyone online yet?
No.
Okay. Darn, that would be interesting to see how the mic was working. We're testing out this snowball mic for the first time. You're noticing that. And after some research, we decided I happen to have this mic at home, so we just tested it. And it should pick up the voices of people in the room better, as well as the speaker, so people online can hear it better.
And it's being recorded so that we can hear it back.
Oh, good. So we'll be able to tell if it helped in the recordings. Good.
To speak like you're in an auditorium.
Okay.
In general.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You should always do that. And breathe from the diaphragm. That will help do that. All right. Does anyone have any speeches that they want to share that they gave last week?
I, at my other club last week, did the same speech that I did here last time.
Okay. Nice.
I can say that my 50th wedding anniversary in Wisconsin, my children gave me the mic and I became the MC without being told to be the MC. And then found out at the end of going around and visiting with friends and having them tell stories about us as a couple, found out that they were doing their final, that my kids were doing their final rehearsal for a presentation as the Sound of Music parody of Our Lives. It was a beautiful thing.
Oh my goodness. Any other speeches? Okay. I'm going to throw in a little curveball here and ask if there's any announcements or anything that anyone needs to share. Christina.
I am the VP of Public Relations, and I am looking for assistance in my job because my real job is pretty time consuming right now. And I'm just looking for some help. We have a Facebook component, a blog component, Google+, working with a newspaper, and working with radio. So there's lots of different pieces and parts that we use throughout the year to let people know who we are and what we do and how awesome we are, and also share our accomplishments as a club. So just looking for some help for those that are interested and want to do it. And if you are, send me an email or talk to me, and I'll let you know what is available, and we can find something that works good for you and what you already know.
Yeah. Good. And I want to add, I just think it's so important to divide and conquer. That is a big job. Laura Lee took on the whole big job, and now if everybody just takes on little bits of it, it won't be overwhelming. And I think it's also such a great opportunity for anyone who is curious about learning more about doing any of these things. You have great experience in all the online stuff, so it's a good opportunity. All right, I'm going to pass around the sheet, and it looks like for next week we definitely need a Toastmaster. And I was told by Brian, do not let them leave the room without fulfilling the roles for next week. So there's my threat to start out with. And our Toastmaster for today is Kathleen Ritzman.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. I appreciate that. Beginning of our Toastmasters Day today, I deliberately chose today the theme of families. The reason for doing so, Brian thought, was because we would have, and we have now, ended a week of having 12 of our 13 grandchildren stay with us in our little house, piled on top of each other, 2 to a bunk bed level, okay, 2 up, 2 down, 3 in a queen size bed, 1 who insisted on sleeping on the floor, I mean, it was just really absolutely wonderful. I am pleasantly surprised now to come home from my travels and walk in the door, and there are no shoes. There are no swimsuits or towels on the floor. I don't stumble over somebody's backpack or sleeping bag. But frankly, I miss it. I really do. I am also choosing this because of something that Leo Tolstoy is known for in his book, Anna Karenina. He says all happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. I need to tell you that we are not an unhappy family at my house. We are big, we are happy, we get together, the kids are just absolutely amazing with each other. They kind of pair up. I will have to tell you, my daughter Emily Ann has half the grandchildren, and the way that she has had them every 2 years is that they come in between everybody else. So there are 6 Legrews and 7 Ritzman, and it's just wonderful how everything matches up between the 2 of them. I believe in my heart that a family is truly one of nature's masterpieces. And though it's easy to forget sometimes, family is the most important thing to me in my world. It can be mom, dad, aunts, uncles, cousins. It can be your spouse. It can be your children. And sometimes it is simply the person who loves you unconditionally. But we all need and have to have a family. In all honesty, though, there is nothing that makes you more insane than a family, or more happy, more exasperated, or more secure. I've always loved what George Burns once said. He said, happiness is having a large, loving, caring, close-knit family in another city. I miss mine when they're in another city. Today we have only one speaker, and that will be Lauralee Norris. But before she takes her turn, I would like to go through our usual routine to center us for where we are. And Lee, as our grammarian, would you please give us the word of the day and describe your duties?
Yes, I'd be glad to. The word that I have selected for today is a word that I was reading an article and I had to go look it up. So when I find one of those, I put it down on my list of words to use so that we can use new words and hope that we can implement them into our vocabulary. The word today is truculent. Anybody heard that one?
No.
So Dave is good at it. It's fierce, cruel, savage, ferocious, rude, harsh, mean, or scathing. Sounds really bad for a thing on families. But the context that I found this word was the truculent spirit of the political times. And so I thought that fit very well. I'm going to put the other one up here. And if you can use that word as fierce, cruel, savage, ferocious, rude, harsh, mean, or scathing, and hopefully it isn't in reference to your family. I will also be looking for audible pauses that we all work on, and proper use of the English language, and particularly interesting phrases or turns of idioms and other words that we use that maybe are less common, and I'll put those down as well.
And we have a stand-in for a timer today, and it's nice to see you again, Paul. So we do share what your
How many minutes? 5 to 7.
5 to 7 minutes.
Easy.
In the book, it's 7 to 9, so if you go over, you'll be in good shape.
And so Paul will give you the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at
6.
and the red
And
at
you,
7.
and you can bleed as much as you want, up to 9 minutes.
Paul is not a truculent individual, particularly when it comes to timing, which we appreciate it.
And
then,
you
of
want
course,
me
we'll-
to do the objectives.
Pardon?
You want me to do the objectives so that everybody knows
Oh,
what they're
certainly. Why,
evaluating.
thank you. I would appreciate that.
Sometimes we forget that. And I got Lori sitting right across from me.
Remind you.
Okay, the first objective is to understand the purpose of the stories about history, historical events or people. Second is to use the storytelling skills developed in the preceding projects and tell the story using those skills of the historical event. And the time, as I mentioned, is 7 to 9 minutes. She's saying 5 to 7, and as long as she goes to the max, she'll be okay. Usually she goes a little overtime, so this time she won't get in trouble.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And then later on in our program, because we only have one speaker, we will have lots of times for table topics. And in this case, it is Christina who's in charge of them, and I won't have you mention anything because I can see that you are busy. So our first and only speaker today is Laura Morris, who is working on a project bringing history to life through storytelling. The title of her piece is A Teacher's Fairy Tale. She has recently received her associate's degree from Oregon Coast Community College. She is an Oregon transfer student, so she is now already at OSU getting her bachelor's of business administration. So would you please help me welcome Laura Lee. Please, put your hands up there. Thank you.
Once upon a time, there was a princess born in a castle of green in North Portland. This princess was named Donna. She seemed to all the world a regular princess, but she was destined to become a teacher. The queen of this castle was Carmel, who taught her children with the love of God and values such as honesty, virtue, and how to be a good cook. The king's name was Doug, who worked in the nation's defense. He taught his children what it meant to be dedicated and how important sacrifice for your family was. As the princess grew up, she met a prince named Brian. Now, Princess Donna did not like the unruly Prince Brian. He liked to play jokes and to show off. And then Brian went away on a quest and matured. And as he came back, she decided that she might like the unruly Prince Brian. And they started to look into the future together. While the road ahead of them was winding, and they were filled with both battles and celebrations, they faced life hand in hand, and soon the princess became a queen. While King Brian worked in the nation's defense, Queen Donna decided to go to school to become a teacher. She found her passion working for special needs children and a gift to help them find their voice. King Brian and Queen Donna started their family together, and they had 4 beautiful princesses: Princess Alicia, Rebecca, Princess Jen, and Laura Lee. As they grew as a family, so did their love for each other, and Queen Donna taught them compassion, patience, and not to be true lesson. However you say that word. Have to get it in.
Truculent.
Okay, truculent. Okay. The princesses were not only sisters, but friends as well. Queen Donna taught them to love by example, and how a husband and wife should both love each other, care for each other, and tease each other. King Brian taught how a queen should be treated with respect, affection, and tenderness. They supported each other through career changes and their growing family. Queen Donna became a substitute teacher, and King Brian became the royal mail deliverer. as well as a manager. Queen Donna showed her children the true spirit of giving. It's my favorite picture of her. Through her work with special needs children, she taught that all children are capable of succeeding if given a way to show what they have learned. She taught her own children about faith, Christ, and holidays. As queen, she made sure family was a central part of holidays, filling their table for dinners and making sure she brought all of her children together. She taught her children how to love life, enjoy life, and relax from life's many struggles. Every Easter, Queen Donna created a special dinner with her family. This dinner served as a reminder of the true meaning of Easter. Together, her daughters and her would choose their meal specifically based on the Passover meal and the meanings of the food presented there. And as they cooked the meal, they would talk about the first Easter and what that really meant. They would talk about what Passover represented, and as they would share their Easter meal, it would serve as a representation of what they were really celebrating, the death and resurrection of Christ. Queen Donna showed her children the importance of enjoying being with your family. That is the small version. And spending precious time with them, even though she was a queen now, she made sure her kingdom was never too far away from her parents' kingdom so that she could be close to her family. Soon, her kingdom started to grow. And as her princesses were marrying, she still made sure to keep touch and support her daughters. And with every new addition to her family, she'd run out there and help support her daughters in every way that she could and help them adjust to this new addition to their family. During the 2017 solar eclipse, which we are all very familiar with, she had her family stay to celebrate the eclipse. And early in the morning, we all got put together, all brought our chairs out. All the kids had their little glasses so that they could look up at the sun and not become blind. Her youngest daughter, also known as me, was running a science experiment during this time, and her oldest daughter was using this as a school project. Now, Donna, ever the teacher, helped gather the children's solar eclipse projects, and you can't see them in that picture, but they created shadow drawings to help document the eclipse for them. As their mom and their queen, she made sure to be at her daughter's events. Queen Donna supported their decisions and their achievements. And this is one of those things just to show that every time there was something big happening, she made sure to be there. This was when I received a scholarship from Ellen Rosenblum. And she is also very passionate with her work with special needs children. I could not get a picture of her classroom because it had names on it, the one I had. But her daughters are blessed to watch their mother's gifts in seeing the best in every single child and being able to bring out the best in all of her students. During their trip to the Kingdom of Victoria, she explored all places in the kingdom from wild jungles to butterfly oasis. She took her daughters to see castles and lavish dining halls. They were huge, by the way. And the king and queen rode in their royal carriage with white horses and seats covered in white roses. they were pulled through the city and back to their suite. Together, the Queen and her family have gone on grand adventures and made memories to last a lifetime. They have lived and learned together, facing each new year as a new adventure. While they may not have it all together, together they have it all. And so the Queen and King have lived happily ever after.
Folks, this is really what family's about. Queen Donna shows that it's not just about love, easy concept. Instead, your family will be there, watching out for you. You know, nothing else will give you that. Not money, success, fame, not work, just having your family there. And I think something that I have noticed here with the Morris family is that they reveal in a very special way that parents will always love you. Nobody else will. In the rest of the world, you gotta earn the love. But from parents, and I will have to add grandparents, the love is there. And if a person ever needs to find it, there will always be someone in their life that can do that for them. The time for this was how long, Paul? Okay, sorry. I always ask it the worst one.
It's amazing. The princess spoke for 8 minutes and 58 seconds.
Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. All right. I'm wondering whether, Dave, would you be ready to give your evaluation now, or would you rather wait until after table topics?
I've got all my notes finished.
Okay. Fellow Toastmasters, will you help us welcome Dave? Do you want to stay there? Come up. What's easiest for you?
We don't have an audience today, so I can do it from
All
here.
right.
I really have to be careful not to be trekking it when I'm doing these evaluations, otherwise I might discourage the speaker. So I have to tell her right off the bat that I really enjoyed the story, and that was the purpose of telling stories, is that you're trying to entertain an audience. Most people do not use this, they choose a historical event, even if their family's involved in it, rather than the way she developed her fairy tale, telling the story. And although it was different, I liked the idea of doing that, of telling the family history through a fairy tale method of doing it, and it was very original. You develop the characters well. That shouldn't have been too hard since you know them all intimately. I liked how you kept the theme all the way through to make it a fairy tale life. It would have been real easy to fall out of that and just tell the story of your brothers and sisters, but you kept that theme throughout. You didn't. At all. Requirements that you're supposed to do, and so to do it as a slideshow as you did, I don't know how you get around that, but that's one of the things you're supposed to do with this particular assignment. Actually, with all of the storytelling assignments, you're supposed to do without notes. But that's about the only. I thought your vocal variety could have been better, but I don't know that the content of the speech really lends itself to a whole lot of vocal variety. But maybe when you're talking about the king and the queen, you could have the big, strong royal voice of the king, and things like that, and maybe meeker voices of the littlest princess, and things like that, to introduce a little bit more vocal variety to make it a little bit more fun. It was an interesting story. I liked the way it was done. Like I said, most people don't do their home family story like that. And it worked out quite well. And so with those just a couple of exceptions, I thought it was very well done.
Dave, there's never any truculence in you. You're always a kind person. Paul, do you have time on this?
Yes, Dave's evaluation was 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
All right.
Perfectly.
Well, we have, let's see, it is 7:27-ish right now. And so I would say we've probably got time for at least 4 table topics. So
Okay.
Christina, do you want to do it from where you are or come up in front?
I can introduce the topic and then people can stand where they like. All right, as we have learned about the fantasy world today of the kingdoms, my question is, tell us about your family's kingdom. Let's go with Lee.
Good morning, Toastmasters. I have had an interesting experience this week, having 5 days with 13 grandchildren in the house, 12 grandchildren, and the 6th and 7th day with 13 grandchildren in the house. One with very special needs, speaking of a special needs teacher. So we started out, everybody arriving almost at the same time on Saturday evening, set out the plans for the week. I was through 2 trips to the bank to take out $1,500 to pay for going to the aquarium and going to the Wings and Waves Park in McMinnville, and gas, and 2 or 3 trips to cash and carry, and the Walmart periodically, and Fred Meyer, and everything else. But I'm going to tell you quickly about the best experience that we had during the week. This is the one that the kids ask to do again every year. We have them each choose the name of a cousin. Keep it secret. And then we take them over to the dollar store. We give them $2 a piece, one to buy a gift for themselves and one to buy a gift for your cousin. What can you buy for $1? But they put so much thought and meaning into that gift. And then we get a quarter sheet cake and it says happy birthday, has every one of them's name. Then we put candle in for the youngest, 5 candles this year. And then we sing happy birthday. That person opens the secret gift and reveals who the gift giver was. We go on up adding candles until we get to the end. It's because they don't get to see each other during their birthdays. So this is the kind of the common time that all of our grandkids can spend with each other. And that was the most special event of our week. So.
My family does Secret Santas every year, so kind of similar but different, but I like that approach of the candles. Thank you for sharing. All right. Because it's summertime and because we have a lot of RVs rolling through, I asked the question, what would be your ideal family vacation if there was everything was paid for, you didn't have to worry at all? Where would you go? What would you do? Maybe who would you bring or not bring? Paul?
Oh.
Tell yourself.
Well, my ideal vacation with family would be with an oversized Volkswagen van with a great big peace symbol on the side. I would rent this crazy van in Boston and start on that end of Highway 20 and work my way, and taking each of my children, my daughter number 2 lives in Boston, take her and her spouse along with me to go to the next daughter who lives in Indiana, in Goshen, Indiana, which is only 10 miles south of Highway 20 as it goes through South Bend, Indiana. And then the 4 of us plus 2 grandchildren, no, 6 of us now, plus 2 grandchildren would head west and all the way to Dubuque and then to down the Platte River, which is the dullest river in the world. But we would not be trunku. And we would carry on, and then we would have a great festivity event at the intersection of Highway 20 and 101. Yes.
So there's blood family, and then I would say that there's chosen family. There's a lot of other families out there, of course. But those two are something that I've run into a lot of my family that I was born in, and then the people I choose to surround myself with. I just want you to share with us how you see those differences between the two family types.
Fellow Toastmasters, we have an interesting situation in my family in that one of my brothers is adopted. And it turns out that he has reconnected, realized he has a sister and a brother, half sister and a half brother. So he was given up. He was born to an unwed mother in Los Angeles, 1959, and then adopted at birth by a family, an older couple who were in their 50s, which having a newborn child when you're in your 50s does not sound like a lot of fun. He lasted with them. We got him when he was 12, I think. And he's lived with us and become an excellent person. And he, in the last 5 years, decided to dig a little bit, I think as much for health reasons as anything else. Just find out what is in his history and try and figure out who his mother was. And apparently he is now located these half siblings. He's met his sister, who apparently looks just like him. Unfortunately, his brother wants nothing to do with him. And I think that's one of the risks of reconnecting. I consider him my brother. My parents consider him their son. And then he has this whole other part, which is really amazing. And to learn, I think it would be shocking for all of us to have somebody come to us and say, oh, by the way, your parents did something different than you thought. But it's been really, I think, really good for him to learn that. And I think it's really exciting for us as well to extend our family. I have a fairly large extended family because my father's side of the family tends to live a long time. I have an aunt who just turned 101 and is doing quite well. But family is whatever you make of it.
So families get together, and there are some times when they say maybe a little too much about you. What is a time that your family has embarrassed you? Shailene?
I was hoping you wouldn't call me. Let's see. Just a moment.
Fellow Toastmasters, my mother always embarrasses me almost. When we get together, she tells the same stories of my past that I wish could just get buried and forgotten. And now they're even leaving my mind because I think I bury them and forget them. And then I am around her and she brings them up again. So trying to imagine, definitely for my teen years, I was the oldest of 3 kids and I was the only girl. And I like to say that my brothers never got caught at doing things because they learned from me I taught them how to get caught because I got caught at everything. And so she'll bring up old boyfriends. That's probably the thing I like to forget the most is my ridiculous boyfriend escapades in my teen years before I graduated from high school. Curiosity is one of my positive traits most of the time. But as I was growing up as a teenager, I was not necessarily positive. I liked to try things I had never tried before. And many of them got me into big trouble. And in fact, yes, here's one. One of them got me grounded for my entire senior year of high school. I'll leave you wondering about what that might have been.
You realize, of course, if you told us, remind you every time we together. Don't let other people on on the spot unless you, I didn't think so. So each one of us has had an opportunity to speak today. But I will leave you with a couple of notes, and then because Jeline is also our evaluator today, I'll give her the lectern and she can do that and of course conclude the meeting. But one individual said, if there's one thing I've learned over the eons, is that you can't give up on your family no matter how tempting they make it. And then this one from Maya Angelou. You can kiss your family and friends goodbye and put miles between you, but at the same time, you carry them with you in your heart, your mind, your stomach, because you do not just live in a world, but a world lives in you. Hello, Toastmasters.
General evaluation of the meeting. I confess, I left my notes at home about what I'm supposed to evaluate. So I'm going to do my best. If I forget anything, you just let me know. So first, the meeting started a minute or two late, I know. The Toastmaster, Kathleen. I love the theme of family, and I love that you really shared some personal stories and your personal perspective, and it wasn't always shiny and positive. It was also, there's some challenging parts because we all know that, but sometimes it's more fun to be Facebooky and say everything fabulous. So, and I loved your beautiful comment on the speech after Laura Lee gave her speech. So it felt very authentic. You're weaving the theme into everything. Dave, your speech evaluation of Laura Lee, I appreciated that you started on a positive note, telling her how much you enjoyed it. And then on the ideas for the positive criticism, I also appreciated that you gave suggestions of how she could add more vocal variety into it, for example. Again, that was really helpful. Lee, as grammarian, oh my goodness, you stretched us. We had trouble even pronouncing it, let alone knowing how to use it. Okay, all right. Actually, right now, since we're talking about, no, that's not the way to do it. We'll do it when I'm finished. Is that okay? Okay.
And we also didn't vote on this speech.
Oh, we didn't. Okay, good. We are not perfect. We are perfectly imperfect. Okay, Lee, would you please give us a grammarian report?
Certainly. So the word truculent was unfortunately not used by me except for what I introduced it, and I had an opportunity to. Paul, Christina used it a couple of times. Laura used it a couple of times. But no, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong column. Kathleen used it. Laura Lee used it. Paul used it a half a time because he couldn't pronounce it. And Dave used it. The audible pauses were very minimal today. Congratulations, Christina.
I didn't have to talk very much.
And some phrases that I got. Let's see. Family is whatever you make of it. It's Laurie, excuse me. And Paul created an interesting image with a van, a VW van with a peace symbol on the side of it. Laura Lee, you said that your mother's daughters and her would prepare Easter dinner. You should have said she and her daughters, because it's the subject of the sentence. Other than that, I thought didn't have any grammatical errors or anything, so very good today.
And we were hoping for a truculent review.
Oh, there's another one. Well done. Yeah, so everyone passed their vote for table topics down to Christina. Give her a moment to calculate them. Wonderful grammarian report, vote tabs. And what I notice is we don't usually catch grammatical things, and so that's really helpful to have someone who notices those.
Very good English.
Did you? My husband proofs all my writing, so he catches those things too. I appreciate it. All right, table topics, and Christina. Oh.
Can I report and remind you of who you could possibly vote for?
Yes.
Because I'm the timer.
Yes.
Lee spoke about his brood for 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Paul talked about the family on the road for 1 minute and 19 seconds. Lori spoke about extended family for 1 minute and 52 seconds, and Jaylene about the family past, 1 minute and 24 seconds.
And thank you for pinch hitting and being the timer today, Paul. Christina's table topics, I thought those questions were just fabulous. And again, I love that in the beginning, I keep saying love a lot, but I love in the beginning that Kathleen expanded this idea of family, that it's a little bit of everything, and you just continued that with the questions, the expanding into different areas, even embarrassing ones. So that was fun. Let's see. And the last thing I have to share is just the meeting as a whole. I think our meetings, and this is no exception, the spirit is joyful and fun and also challenging and supportive, for sure. The opposite of truculent. Is there anything I forgot to evaluate as the champion evaluator? Okay. Can we have the table topic minute?
Drum roll. Three-way tie.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Lauralee, Jaylene, and Lee.
Are you serious? Like everyone gets the trophy. All right.
Everyone come up.
Not for Lee, because she
I was going to say, Lauralee didn't
Sorry,
do it.
Lori.
It's okay, Krista.
Oh, you got
All right. So you're gonna
Here we go.
Oh, you're gonna. So Lee, come on up.
Lee
difficult.
one too.
Yeah.
I don't have green hands though.
Here, she's getting out this way.
I was gonna say we ought to just all stand over here.
Let's see. Go ahead, put your hand.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
Good job.
I think we ever had a good way down.
Right.
Guys
Let's
after
make
the
sure-
Super Bowl kissing the trophy.
So thank you for a rousing meeting. We kind of it was like a wild water rafting trip. We kind of all helped pull it all together. All right. So for next week, we are still missing a Toastmaster. Is anyone going to be here next week that is not here? So we have a speaker is Julia, the evaluator is Ruth, speaker Avital, evaluator me, for Mary and Cody, table topics Lee, timer Christina, general evaluator Kathleen. Dave, are you going to be here next week?
I don't know, that's why I didn't volunteer to do anything.
Candidate.
Christina,
Oh, be a Toastmaster.
excellent. Thank you.
That's true.
All right, I
So
will
then
not
you
have
need a timer. Yeah.
to. Oh,
Because I'm currently a timer.
That's easy to get
that's easy. To
the day of the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Toastmasters.
Are
not
you
so
going
much.
to be here?
I am not.
Yeah. So no one else. And Paul, you don't know if you're going to be here?
No.
Okay, so we'll just pinch hit on that one. Somebody will get surprised. Okay. Make sure all rules are filled. I have done that. I think it's time for the gavel. And I told, where'd it go?
Underneath.
I told Brian I am a gavel virgin. So now I will be no longer. Are we ready?
Yay.
Well, I can give you a Sarah report.
Oh, yeah.
We traveled with her